Hello, this is Physics 220, an online class. It's Physics 2. It's a calculus-based physics class. And if you haven't passed Calculus 2 already, you're in the wrong place. They never should have put you here in the first place. So figure out how you can drop us real quick. And this is an introductory video. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go on the web, because it's a web class, and see where the website is. So my browser sends me there directly, which I'm sure yours doesn't, so we will go back and do something different as soon as I get control of my screen. So I would imagine that what you would do to get to the website is type in iwcc.edu into your browser. And if you did, you'd get to the Iowa Western Community College website. From there, in the lower right-hand corner here, there's a thing that says ROC for rock. That's Reaver Online, if anybody was really caring. A Reaver is a Mississippi River pirate, 150 years or so in the our mascot. You'd come, when you click on there, you come to the rock portal, which is Reaver Online Campus. Clearly, I'm going to show all the sections that are currently available. Your rock classes, most of you are just going to have your physics class and your physics lab, so it's not going to be as busy as mine. You can have up to 25 different courses there at the same time, so that's the way that is. So I'm going to click on the physics class for a moment. This is a video that I'm making for the physics class, and I'll probably make another one for the lab as well. And you can see that this is summer 2014 is the course. And now the computer's coming up on the course. So that's the opening page of our class. Currently, you can't do this, but I'm gonna turn editing on just for the heck of it to show you why it is that you don't see everything that I see. So when I turn on editing, I find that I have an I here, and that I is a hidden thing or a not hidden thing. So currently, you can see the beginning page, you can see an introductory page, you can see a assignment 2 page, but the first chapter of the work you're not going to be able to see right away. Now, 2 weeks or so prior to class, I'm going to open up the first 4 chapters, so you can, because there's people that want to start early. So you could in fact start early. So if I just do that, then that unhides that chapter, and then you'll be able to see what's there. We'll get to what's there later. There's a welcome message that you can go to that has a picture of the textbook. So there's our textbook. I thought my picture was on the welcome page, but I guess it's not. There's a, if you go control your plus key, you can make this bigger if you care to. So now there's the ISBN number, and it's an '08 publication from Prentice Hall, and edition 4, hardbound. Giancoli. I've been using this book for since the 2nd edition, and this is a 4th edition book. So that's the book we're using. You can go to the Iowa Western website again, look for the bookstore, and get it from there, and pay 40% more than what you do if you go to Amazon and get one secondhand or something. But those are places where you are. Now, do you need the book? That's the real issue, and the answer is yes. there's homework that's coming out of this book, and without that homework, that would be okay. Now, there's a handful of you that aren't going to want to buy the book, and they're going to want to use the book they got for their Physics 1 class. And if you guys would email me one at a time, and I'll tell you how you can do that. You give up some things because clearly some of the quizzes are, well, the quizzes that you're going to see are in fact based on this particular textbook. So XYZ might be YXZ in another textbook. And when I refer to a page number, it's going to be a page number in this book. But in general, you could still pass and not have the book by using a different one. But again, I'm going to have to tell you how to do that. Okay, well, we'll come off the welcome website. And maybe we'll come off the welcome website. I don't know. Okay, there we go. Now we're off the welcome website. Now there's a syllabus website. And it looks like we're... so we'll open the syllabus. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can get the size of this back to normal. And so we're downloading the syllabus. And there it is. Now the syllabus is a Word document. That may be a problem. Now why I have to say OK 3 times in a row, I have no idea. But I do. So there's the syllabus. Because we're having 12 sections this summer, you may not see my name there. You might see somebody else's. That's perfectly okay. And we see we have the same textbook that we had before, same ISBN number. Course objectives that you don't care about. And a grading system that you may or may not care about. We're going to start the 2nd of June. I'm going to end the 25th of June. And then comes the important part. We're going to be doing a chapter test on the 14th of June for chapters 17 through 20. And on that day that we do that chapter test, when that chapter test is due, all your homework problems are due. So that could be an interesting situation. So obviously you don't want to wait until the night before. We're going to be doing another chapter test on the 25th of June. There's a lot of homework problems that need to be done for that chapter test. There's another chapter test going to be passed out on the 9th of July, and problems associated with it above. And then the next thing that happens is the final exam, and the final exam, and the day that the final exam is due, all the other coursework is due. Now last summer we had 260 people in the class. We had 258 of them pass. So considering that you guys are in general only looking to transfer the credit, your grade's not going to transfer anyway, passing is important. C and above is definitely an important thing to do. Okay, well, we'll quit looking at the syllabus and we'll come down to the next page, which is introduction. And there's a picture of me sitting there. And we have another spot where we could click on and get the syllabus if we wanted to. Well, we already looked at it already. We don't have to do it again. So we have another spot we could get to it. Here is a place where all the topics that are unhidden you could go to. Right now, you're only going to see 2 guys you can jump to. The rest of these guys are hidden from you. They're probably grayed out, just not dark is probably what they are, and you won't be able to get to them. If you log on as me, then you could get to them. That'd be fine. There's an email address there that you could use, but there's also on the right-hand side, as I come down, I find a spot where I can send email. There we go, compose a new email. So you could click on compose an email and send me an email. And I suppose your computer skills are probably good enough to figure out how to do that. Okay, we'll get out of there. And see what the website's doing now. Now, I am in Internet Explorer, but the website works best in Chrome. I'm clearly an older guy and I don't like Chrome. Obviously, it's got too many colors in the icon. But right now it looks like I've lost control of my website. Okay, so there we are. I can go back, click on that icon, and I can get back to the place where we can see everything that's there. My next favorite spot is this due date and assignment page. So here I'm telling you that I'm going to send you, and it's really a releasing of a chapter test in general. The final exam I expect to be emailed to you, but the chapter test will come off the website when it's time. So sometime on the 11th of June, which is a Wednesday, I expect to unhide the chapter 17 to 20 test, and it is due on the next Friday. So the 11th, that'd be the 13th of June. That would be due on Friday at midnight, with all the homework, all the quizzes, all the discussions, and all the labs for the chapters that are covered. And then on the 25th of June, we do it again. The 9th of July, we do it again. Final exam goes out to the 23rd of July. There's a drop box associated with each of those events, and the homework will go in one drop box. The test will go in the other. Some of you will put both in one, and I will sort those out as I do. Scanning is a good idea, especially for your homework. A digital camera will help too. You're going to be limited to 20 files to put your homework in. So if you take 21 pictures and put 20 pictures on, what are you going to do with the 21st picture? Well, you could take your 21 pictures and put them in one Word document and put a Word document there with all of them on. So I'm sure you can figure that one out. I don't have to tell you how to do it. Okay, now we're going to look at chapter 17, which is your first chapter. And all the chapters are going to look the same. We have some concepts that we're dealing with. We have some summary we're dealing with. We have a tag that says lecture. So in the website that says lecture, I'm going to tell you the same thing every time, and I'm going to be extremely boring. And then there's going to be assignments, and in the assignment things will be things you have to do. A discussion, which you'll have to talk about. Discussions are worth 0, 1, or 2 points, and quizzes are worth a point for every question that is there. Don't try to take the quiz until you've read the book. We'll get back to why. So this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to read chapter 17. There's a presentation for chapter 17. The presentation is a PowerPoint presentation. It is sight only. There's no words there. There's an assessment for chapter 17. The assessment is a PowerPoint presentation that it's interactive. You answer questions. It allows you to learn the simplest possible topics that are presented in the chapter. Once you know those simple things, it's easier to solve the more complicated problems. Look at and do the problems in chapter 17 that are on the assignment web page, and Those assignments are due when the Chapter 17 to 20 test is due. Take the Chapter 17 quiz. Go to the Chapter 17 website for the lab and do that. And also add a comment to the Chapter 17 forum, which is, let's see, what's another word for forum? Discussion, right. It used to be a discussion. Now we've went from a multi-syllable word to a two-syllable word to forum, and which is the green icon. You can skip the quizzes. You can skip the forums. That's perfectly okay. I'll just put zeros in the gradebook when a chapter test is due. You can watch your grade go down, and then decide to do them because that's not a good idea. Yeah, it is possible to get a 0 on a discussion problem in the forum, and in general, you don't. There is a forum that's worth up to 3 points, and that happens every now and then. I'm going to increase the size of that so you can look at it so it's a little bigger. Is that better? I should have done that earlier. All right, so that's what you're supposed to do. Every lecture says the same thing, except for the chapter for which a test is going to be after, and then that'll have a 9th item saying, go do the test too. Okay. When I come back here and hit that guy, it puts me back to where I was, or I could come up here and hit the back arrow and go back either way. All right, now I come back and I look at the assignment page. The assignment page has the same homework problems listed that are in the syllabus. So these are the same numbers that are in the syllabus. I can click on the presentation and I'll open a PowerPoint. And whether or not this works on a Mac machine, I don't know. I don't have a Mac machine. All right, well, there's a PowerPoint presentation for us, and you'd proceed through that, and in general, all the important concepts that are in the chapter are there. Am I going fast enough? Let's see, how do I get out of that? Escape, right? All right, and then when you're done looking at the presentation and realizing that that's about the same as what I just read in the book, and all the pictures are the pictures from the book, so that's good. Then we move on to the assessment, and the assessment is much more fun. Which is the largest unit? A degree, a Kelvin, or a Fahrenheit? Well, obviously, a Celsius degree and a Kelvin degree are the same. So that means, is Fahrenheit bigger or not? Well, I'm at boiling at 100 degrees Celsius. I'm boiling at 213 degrees Fahrenheit. So both Kelvin and Celsius degree would be the guys. And so I circle it, hey, that guy's right, and I get an explanation for why it's right. Big picture things. It turns out that that is the same. Minus 40 degrees Celsius is minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Is there a similar thing between Kelvin and Celsius? No, there's no such similar thing. But we're going to say yes and see what happens. Yes. Oh, it circles the no one. Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we'll get out of this guy because you guys get to do it without me. And then we'll move down to problems. And this is a PDF where problems have been worked. Now, in general, I do the even problems because you do the odd problems. And I do those problems as far into the chapter as you go. So if you go to problem number 63, I go to problem 62 or 64. Okay, we're going to go and do something slightly different now. We're going to go and look at my let's see if I can find my section 1. That's section 10. I don't want section 10. What happened to section 1? That's section 1, summer. Summer section 1. Okay, summer section 1. And we're going to come back up on chapter 17 and back into the assignment site. And we see that we have a video presentation of me solving the same problems that are in the chapter 17 problems. So you get to, those that are lucky enough to have me put that on their website, which I'm hoping to do, will have that done. I currently have 17, 19, and 20 done, and I'm working at that. And to the extent that I get them on, I get them on, and to the extent that I don't, I don't. And a year from now, I should have them all there. No one's had any videos on this website so far, and it looks like I'm going too far out. So we'll come back up again on, we'll go back up on section 3 where we were before. All right, now we're going to click on the discussion item. On page 466 of the text, we have something and blah, 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 blah. And so you'd make some intelligent comment of why this is the case. And then I would give you 2 points for that intelligent comment. Remember that in the discussions, this is not a social science class. This is a physics class. So that means that if you answer the question in a politically correct manner, that's going to be 0 points. Because in physics, words have meaning, and you would have to answer your question regard to that meaning, not to the way you feel about it. Okay, that might become clear later, it might not. And then we'll look at the quiz for chapter 17. And now we can go and start the quiz. Let's see. The word atom is the Greek word meaning indestructible, indivisible, microscopic, or smallest. And it's been a long time since I've read chapter 17. So, I'm sort of thinking it can't be microscopic and it can't be indestructible, so it has to be smallest or indivisible. I'm going to go with indivisible, and then we'll go back and we'll submit it for grading and see what happens. And so my answer's saved, and I'm going to submit my thing. I'm going to submit. Now, you shouldn't do that. You need to answer it. Okay, and I got 1 out of 13 right, so I was correct, and I got that one right in 1 minute and 52 seconds. So I suggest that when you do your first quiz, you use C as your right answer. But that is again something that would be in the book. And now we're going to move and look and see what a chapter 20 looks like, because chapter 20 is where the first exam's going to be. So there's a drop box for your homework for chapter 17. There we go. And there's a drop box for your tests for chapter 17. And what will happen when chapter 17 is turned on, everything will be turned on except the chapter test. And then the day the chapter test is supposed to be there for you is the day I unhide it. And there it is, sitting right there in the blue spot. All I do is click on it, and it's going to open for me. So there it is. I guess you can look at the first question, and that would be fine. Oh, now I did it. Lost it all away. I went too far out. Oh well, can't have everything. I think that gives you some idea of how we're going to do the class. You're going to read the textbook. You're going to look at the PowerPoints. You're going to do the assessments. You're going to do the homework. You're going to take a quiz. You're going to take do a discussion, also called a forum, and then wait for a test to show up and then do the test. And grades will go in the gradebook. Let's look at the gradebook for a moment. And maybe we'll look at the gradebook, maybe we won't, who knows. Yeah. I really didn't have to do that, did I? Okay, so I don't want that guy either. That's a lab. I really want the class. Okay, so there's a class. And on the right, I have a thing called grades. Now, because I'm an instructor, I have a whole lot of things there. You only get to see the things that you can look at. So there's the grades. There's going to be homework, quizzes, and other things. So each of those blocks are going to be filled in with something by the end of the semester for 40% of your grade. The chapter tests are going to be filled in. Because this is summer, we don't have time for a chapter 32 to 35 test. There's only going to be 3 tests and a final exam. If you're watching this video, 1, 2, 3, and it looks like I have too many tests there, doesn't it? Well, I'll figure that out later. If you're looking at this in the fall or the spring, there will be a 4th chapter test in the fall and the spring. Okay, I hope that answers a lot of questions that you were having. There are only 450 of you doing it this summer. I expect that you will all be very successful. Okay, thank you very much.